Snake eyes on the clock. This Texans game is over. So join me on the field, in the locker room, in the tunnels, wherever, post-game, along with my good pal John Harris, the radio sideline reporter, as we break down a little bit of what just happened with your Texans in today's game. And please, take a moment to like, subscribe, and review this podcast. There's nothing else like it. Nobody else is on the field post-game like this covering your Texans. Here we go. Hey, John Harris, do you need a cigarette?
No, I'm good.
I need a cigarette after a game like that.
I mean, I don't know what you say about that. I looked up at the clock, and when Otten caught the ball, the first thing I thought of was, boy, I think there's enough time to at least get a shot at the end zone. And, maybe just a Hail Mary, but you're at least going to have a shot, seemingly. But they put 10 seconds back on the clock for 49 seconds. So when he scored, it was only 46. So I thought, that's not – I think we could do something with that. So CJ went to work, and he got a couple of drive starters, and then he hit the ball to Tank. And then it was like, okay, there's a couple of shots at the end zone here. And he just got Tank in the back of the end zone just beautifully. I mean, I don't know what you say about that, Drew. I mean, I've seen a lot of games in this building. There have been very, very few that have ever gone that way. That was incredible to watch. It was incredible to be down there and experience it. And, I give credit to the fans. That was the loudest I've heard this place in a long time.
Probably since the playoff game that the Texans won against the Bills.
And that's why, when Tavierre forced that fumble, I was kind of hoping that we're going to get on it and it was going to be over right there, because that's the kind of play, you knock the fumble out, you get on it, and the crowd goes nuts. But I guess it ended a different way than maybe it was supposed to. I don't know.
Think about that last drive, okay? You might, if you hadn't seen the game, you might look at that last drive and think, oh, well, that was the Bucs playing a prevent type of defense. And they were carving them up deep, getting explosive plays all day long. And what did we hear coming into this game? Run up to the game, not enough explosive plays by the Texans. And it was just one week does not make a season, but goodness gracious, the explosion today from everyone. Tank Dell, Noah Brown. I mean, Noah Brown, he's been back 3 games. He's had a 31-yard or longer catch in each of those 3 games.
Yeah, we were talking about that during the broadcast, the impact Noah Brown's had. Robert Woods, we miss him badly, especially on third down, but Noah Brown's been incredible. But, the fact you have 3 guys over 100 yards, and one of them
Dalton Schultz, too.
Yeah, 3 guys over 100 yards, and Nico's not one of them.
And Nico had a good game still.
And he did, yeah, and Nico has the touchdown. I asked Dalton Schultz, I said, what does it say about the fact that you have 3 guys that catch 100, Nico's got 3, running backs caught the ball in the backfield. He goes, it's our quarterback, man. It's our quarterback. And to have a game like that, with the way it started so wonky. But to have a game like that and to perform the way that he did today, it was just, I don't know how you put it into words, man, but every single time in that second half, he just stepped up, made one play after the next. When the running game really couldn't get going, it was like CJ said, man, I got this. We're good. I'll take care of it.
You say wonky. I was going to say this is easily one of the weirdest games in team history. Yeah. Given the opponent, and then given Ogunbowale comes out of nowhere to kick.
Yeah.
Now, he's got a long backstory, and you're going to hear quite a bit about it. Yeah. But I've talked with him in the past. He's got a good soccer background, and I'm guessing they didn't want Cam Johnston kicking because he's coming back from the injury, or he came back from the injury. They probably don't want him re-aggravating it, and then you're down 2 guys that are your specialists.
And then you got to change holders at that point. So if there's a different holder, if the Cam is kicking, so there's a lot of things going on with that. Dari handled it like a champ, and I would talk to him in the locker room, and the first thing he said was, I could have made those extra points too. And those would have been big extra points at the time. But, you kind of live and you learn with it, and he knocked home the one they needed to have. And I was back there, as I always am, back behind the goalpost, and as soon as he kicked it, I just screamed in Mark's ear, he made it! So I'm sure Mark probably channeled all that energy into his call. But, this is one of those wins, Drew, where I don't know really what to call it, but it was everybody. It took everybody to get this win. It's like an organization win. It took everybody to get every single inch and ounce.
You lost like 8 guys during the course of the game. Just in the game alone to injury, and you went into it without Sheldon Rankins. You went into it without Robert Woods, like you mentioned, without a few other guys. Brevin Jordan, Damian Pierce. You're leading your best offensive player from last year.
Yeah, with all that going down, you just, that's why it kind of stung when Otten makes that catch, because you're like, God, you've given everything to win this game. Everything. And now they're going to steal one. And you had enough time, you had enough timeouts because it was managed properly, and you go down and you get a win. It was fantastic. So, I'm going to go talk to D'Amico Ryans here. We got a lot to talk about, which will be kind of interesting for sure.
Yeah, let's wrap this up, man, because we've walked from the radio studio here to the auditorium. But the Texans are now 4-4. Long time since the Texans have been at 500 this late in a season.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show what D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud and everybody has meant to this organization. And each week, Chris Strausser, our offensive line coach, is walking by us, and his guys in pass protection today were absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's an organization win, and so now you go to Cincinnati and you let it all hang out. Cincinnati's playing good ball. You go there and you just, you fight fire with fire, and hopefully you get some of these guys back and go to battle.
Texans haven't lost in Cincinnati in a long time, John.
Okay, let's go get a win. Let's go do it.
This was fun, John. That was fun with John, and just for the record, I don't smoke. Neither does John. It's that old joke, hey, you need a cigarette after that one. But anyways, big win for the Texans. That's not all for today's podcast, however, because I was on the field with Tank Dell. Tank Dell, 2 touchdowns, over 100 yards receiving, 2 monster catches, one of which was the score to end the game on that final possession. It was wild, and here's some of the fun post-game that happened with Tank and myself. Tank, what the heck did we just see?
Man, we all just stuck together as a team, man. God make a way for everything, man. So just kept God first. We kept on going, and, CJ delivered a great ball. The offensive line was blocking great, and we just did what we did.
He delivered a lot of great balls today, 2 of them in particular to you on that final drive. What was happening there on that last possession? Because they take the lead, you got to get a touchdown, and you guys come up big.
Man, that's something we work on at practice all week, every day. Like, we do 2-minute drills, going into halftime, 2-minute drills, going into trying to score at the end of the game. So that's something we work on, and we just execute it. 2
touchdowns on the day for you. You crack 100 yards. You ever had a better day than this?
Man, I just give all the glory to God, man.
We got to also talk about your kicker. You got 2 kickers, Kaimi Fairbairn, Dare Ogunbowale. Did you know he had that in him today?
Definitely didn't, but he just showed us today, man. Shouts out to Dare, and he did what he had to do, man. He executed for sure. So, and shouts out to the fans, man. We love y'all.
All right, what does this say about the offense? Lots of explosive plays from the beginning to the end.
When we all just put out all the pieces together, man, we could go out here and do some great things. That's all that is. Keep running the ball, throwing the ball, CJ putting the ball in the air and executing, and we can go a long way.
All right, let's hear it for this guy. Number 3, Tank Dell and the Houston Texans, 4-4 now on the season. But hey, that's not all. I also went into the locker room and talked with Dare Ogunbowale, the running back, who's got an interesting story from today because he kicked a field goal. He kicked off, and he said, as you'll hear from me, he could have even kicked some of those PATs. Here's Dare and me in the locker room after. The kicker, Dare Ogunbowale.
Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy day.
You and I have talked about your soccer background, but for the folks that don't know about it, tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, just grew up playing soccer, man. Didn't start playing football until I was a junior in high school. Just was a soccer player growing up, and never thought that it would end up working out like this, that I'd have to come and make some plays, but it was fun. It was a fun day.
How did that all come about? Because Kaimi goes down, did you know this might be a circumstance, hey, if the kicker goes down, I'm the next guy up?
Yes, I was always the emergency kicker. Last year, did a lot of stuff during camp. This year, not so much, but was always ready, I guess, just because I knew I was the emergency kicker on the depth chart. So once we heard Kaimi was down, I kind of started looking at the coaching staff, seeing if they were about to come to me and tell me I was up, and then right away they told me I was up, and had to kind of switch my mindset to making kicks.
You drilled a field goal, but you think you could have made those PATs too, right?
I feel like I could have, but coach was making some good decisions. Those 2-point conversions were some good calls, so I was down with the calls too.
Dare Ogunbowale, thank you for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
What a win. That is one we will not forget for a long, long time. Thanks so much for checking this out. Go to HoustonTexans.com, the Houston Texans mobile app for more. And remember, do us a favor. Please subscribe to this podcast and like it, and send us a message on Twitter @DoughertyDrew, @JHarrisFootball. And we'll talk to you again. Until then, go Texans.